can.
Why don't you drop that again?
Explain that. Explain that. Be hot take.
So John's deal
Explain
is the SEC. We're just Bama and a bunch of other runts.
Yeah, they don't even matter.
And evidently the other conferences have all this depth.
They got
Let's talk
firepower.
college football playoff. A&M at number 4 over Washington. Do you think that rocked Joe Klatt from Fox Sports and all the West Coasties as they've been pumping the Pac-12? The Pac-12's garbage this year.
I don't think they were pleased by any means.
Stanford's down, Oregon's down, USC's down, UCLA's down, although USC looks to be maybe getting their act together.
Well, if they've seen how this plays out in the past, they should have zero concerns about Washington not making the playoff.
Very true.
Oh, Bartu, look, he was on it right when it was released. If Washington does what they're supposed to do and they win the Pac-12 championship,
Everything's good.
they're in.
What about all the I told you so guys on Twitter last night and on TV that were like strength of schedule matters?
I'm one of them.
I think they're putting the cart ahead of the horse here.
You know, Bartu's always laughed at that. It doesn't matter if you win your conference championship with either going undefeated or one loss. You are in from the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12. You're in. If you win the conference championship, one loss or undefeated, you're in. Doesn't matter if you play La Monroe, Troy, Wofford, and West Texas State in your non-conference games, you're in.
So you think Washington can lose a game, win the Pac-12, and still make it?
Yes, because of the Big 12.
But you wouldn't get a Ohio State or Michigan or like a one-loss Alabama that didn't win the SEC in ahead of them.
I do not think that they would take a one-loss non-conference champion over a one-loss conference champion.
So if they actually did go ahead with Texas A&M over Washington, you would be putting in a one-loss team that didn't win their own division ahead of an undefeated Power 5 champion.
Which is never going to happen.
That would burn the NCAA down.
Right. That, and even though A&M's loss would be at Bama,
Which is
and that may be A&M's only loss.
Right.
At Bama, in Bryant-Denny, in a game they were winning in the third quarter, you're still not going. Now, if Washington stumbles, Drew, A&M, a one-loss A&M, if they can run it and actually beat LSU and so on, and Ole Miss. But if they were to run it, then they would be competing against a one-loss, maybe Michigan.
right.
And who would they take?
Washington because they won their conference.
No,
right?
no. I'm saying if Washington was eliminated,
Okay.
if they messed up and lost in the Pac-12 conference championship
Okay.
to the Pac-12 South champion, which may be USC, and how would that look? A one-loss A&M against a one-loss Michigan. Michigan lost at Penn State. A&M lost at Bama
So-
in a much tougher division.
We're saying Michigan beat Ohio State or
Oh,
lost to
no,
Ohio
that's
State.
right. That's right. That wouldn't work out. Never mind.
I think Michigan's already beat Penn State.
Michigan. No, that was Ohio State that
Yeah.
lost. So it would be Ohio State beating Michigan, and Michigan going 11-1.
They'd probably go with A&M.
Can you imagine how heated that discussion would be, though?
Ooh.
Because Michigan's the bigger name, even though A&M's big.
Clemson can't afford to lose the ACC either, can they?
No, not at all.
Nope.
So college football playoff rankings, we thought Washington would be in there, and A&M's there. So we have two SEC teams, 1 and 4. And if A&M runs it, and Ohio State beats Michigan, how do you see that?
Ohio State gets in if they win the Big Ten.
No doubt, they're in. But Michigan, A&M schedule trumps Michigan's.
I would think so.
I would have to believe so.
I mean,
And I think the
look
committee
at
would
Michigan's
also
schedule.
finagle it to where A&M doesn't play Bama in the first round.
No doubt. You'd have A&M and Clemson or A&M and Washington. Yeah, because they wouldn't give you Clemson, Bama, would they?
I mean, they haven't played this year, so why not?
You're right.
I don't know.
All right, let's go back to the Cubs won Game 6, and Game 7's tonight. The ratings should be out by now. We'll see what they look like. But and we're efforting Mike Bianco. He was at the World Series game last night with his son, and he just texted us. And he's trying to get through airport security, and then hopefully we'll have Mike on here in the next few minutes. What's the poll question? Or let's tell our audience what it is and where they can go vote, and what is it?
You can go to at Bo Bounds on the Twitter feed. It is who is the most famous living Cubs fan. You got Vince Vaughn, Bill Murray, Nick Offerman, Eddie Vedder.
Tell everybody who Nick Offerman is.
He is Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson.
From Parks and Recreation. Wonderful.
Okay.
Manliest man alive.
Manliest man. I know who he is now. Somebody tweeted us a picture.
Yeah, he's
the
great.
dude he's a riot. He's been in
he's been in a lot of stuff.
What's the movie that they go out to Vegas and do all the deal, and they're with Mike Tyson and everything? Hangover?
Hangover, yeah.
Okay. So he's part of the Hangover crew, right? Or am I wrong there?
I don't know that's a fact.
Oh, okay. Well, check that, and we'll see what that looks like when we come back. Now, Mike Huguenin is supposed to join us at 8:15, but we'll see what happens. In fact, Drew will need to text Mike Huguenin to let him know that, we're kind of in a holding pattern with Mike Bianco this morning. Mike Bianco was at the World Series last night. I keep wanting to say College World Series. He was at the World Series Game 6, Cubs-Indians. Cubs win. Are you rooting for the Cubs or the Indians? My two knucklehead producers are rooting for the Indians somehow.
Smartest people
you
ever
need to
talked to.
channel your inner Pearl Jam and Lee Smith, who was a great reliever for the Cubs in the 80s, and try to get this Game 7 under your belt, Cubs fans. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone is brought to you by Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.